Good day. Thank you for tuning into this primary election candidate forum for Mayor of Olympia. This forum is presented by the League of Women Voters of Thurston County and TCTV. The League is a nonprofit, nonpartisan political organization that encourages the informed and active participation of citizens in their government. The League registers new voters, studies issues, and advocates for its positions with the legislature. Despite its name, the League is open to both men and women of voting age. I'm Allison Brooks from the League, and I will be moderating today's forum. The candidates for mayor are Cheryl Selby and Marco Rosaire Rossi and Prophet Atlantis, who was not able to attend today. For this forum, each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. Then I will ask a series of questions in alternating order. The candidate first asked the question will have 2 minutes to respond. The other candidate will have 1 minute. Each candidate will have 1 minute for closing statements at the end. We will begin with opening statements from the candidates. And so, Marco, would you please begin? 2 minutes.
Thank you. Olympia is planning to grow 20,000 people in the next 20 years. This growth presents a set of unique challenges to the city, but also a set of unique opportunities. The reason I'm running for mayor of Olympia is because I want to take advantage of those opportunities and make sure we grow in a way that is sustainable and inclusive, grow in a way that includes all people in Olympia. First and foremost, I think we need to address poverty in Olympia. Olympia has the highest poverty rate of any incorporated city in the county, and we all have the second lowest median income. That is why I really support policies such as raising the minimum wage, creating safe and sick leave for all workers, and I want to encourage more mixed income neighborhoods and mixed income housing in the city. Second, we need to plan our city in a sustainable manner. Economic growth is needed and desired, but we need to grow in a way that is in harmony with the earth. That is why I really think we need to focus on a high-density future. We need to fight traffic congestion. We need to be promoting bicycles and public transit. And we need to encourage parks in low-income areas and especially sprawled-out areas. Lastly, we need a political framework to make these objectives possible. That means meaningful changes in the civic realm of our city. City government needs to become more democratic and participatory. We need to have a greater marriage between the expertise of staff and the input of everyday citizens. We need an accountable police department that focuses on peacemaking. And we need to focus on moving a directive that encourages districts in our city and that has an elected executive. As mayor, I will do everything possible to push these reforms forward. And I do believe that by pushing these reforms forward, we can push Olympia into a better, brighter, and more inclusive future.
Thank you. Cheryl, you have 2 minutes for an opening statement.
I'm Cheryl Selby, and I'm running to be the next mayor of Olympia. The qualities that I'll bring to the role of mayor are, number one, a proven track record of achievement and depth of experience in our community. Second, a balanced approach to problem solving. And three, a fresh perspective on city leadership. So the first one, I have a proven track record of achievement and depth of experience in our community. For more on that, you can go to my website, electcherylselby.com, where you can find out more about the breadth and depth of my involvement in the city over the last 22 years. I bring a strong combination of public, private, nonprofit, and now elected experience to my role as mayor. Second, I'll bring a balanced approach to problem solving based on the collective impact principles. Collective impact is basically just lingo about how to bring people with diverse voices and diverse perspectives around a table to sit together when they normally wouldn't be sitting together. They can help frame an agenda that is in common, that's held in common, so that we can move forward on some of our most complex social issues. And lastly, I'll bring more than a fresh perspective to city leadership. I kind of picture the role of mayor as a community quarterback. I'm up there with my team of council members, and we all were individually elected to our seats, and all of our votes count and our voices count just as heavily. So I look forward to being part of a team, but directing the team and finding ways to work together so that we can move the ball down the field. Thank you.
Thank you both for your opening statements. So first question, Cheryl, you will get the first question for 2 minutes. So beyond your opening statement, could you please tell us why you chose to run for mayor and what makes you an effective candidate for mayor? 2 minutes.
Well, without sounding redundant, I moved to Olympia 22 years ago with my young family, and it was a purposeful move. I wanted to live in a smaller town with a strong public school district, in a town that I could get involved in. My first job right out of the gate was with the City of Olympia. I worked in the Parks and Recreation Department and ran health and wellness programming for the preschool age. And then after that, I got involved in city campaigns for the school district. I ran levy campaigns and culminating in my co-chairing the 2003 Olympia School District Bond Campaign. As well, I went back to work for the city in 2003 in the Probation Services Department, where I managed another health and wellness program under the auspices of the Probation Services Department, where I led victim impact panels as well as directed the Thurston County Safe Kids program. In 2006, I made the jump into the private sector and opened Vivala. Vivala has been open in 9 years now, and I grew it through one of the worst recessions in our community's, in our nation's history, and not only survived, but grew it to 2 locations. So I have the public, private, and then the nonprofit piece is I've served on nonprofit boards for over a quarter century. I'm currently serving on the board of Sidewalk, which in the last 2 years has housed hundreds of our street-dependent population through the rapid rehousing approach, which is best practices across the nation. I was elected in 2013 to the council seat number 4. We doorbelled on thousands of doors, and I listened to the community and was able to win that seat 2 years ago, and I'm ready to take my leadership to another level.
Thank you. Marco, you have 1 minute to answer the question why you chose to run for mayor and what makes you an effective candidate.
I'll answer the what makes me an effective candidate first, do it in reverse order. What makes me an effective candidate, I think, is years in being involved in the community in Olympia, especially among nonprofit organizations. I was a board member for the Emma Goldman Youth and Homeless Outreach Project. I also was a board member for the Cold and Hungry Coalition, and I was advisory board member helping them set up their nonprofit structure for Partners in Prevention and Education. Meeting with these people and having these experiences really informed me of who are some people who the city isn't working for. And being mayor, what I want to do is make sure the city starts working for these people. I think that in doing so, we will create a better city for all people, and we will create a new future for Olympia that we can all be proud of.
Thank you. Okay, Marco, you have 2 minutes to tell us what plans do you support for the Isthmus?
Well, it's a very controversial topic here in Olympia. There's a lot of conflicting ideas about it. Generally speaking, is that I recognize that our city needs to have economic development. What I would support is a process that we could have so we can have an agreement on what would be the best model to move forward with the Isthmus. We've explored a housing option, we've explored a recreational option, I've talked to people who've explored sort of a commercial option with boutique shops. All those things have their merits, they have their pluses and minuses. So what I really want to support is a open process where we can explore each of those options and try to find the best one that works for Olympia.
Thank you. Cheryl, you have 1 minute, and if you'd like me to repeat the question, I certainly can.
Sure.
What plans do you support for the Isthmus?
Well, there's already a plan underway, and it's called the Downtown Strategy. And I want to put forward that the Downtown Strategy not focus on the Isthmus at this point. In fact, I really would like to change the name of that strip of land. Something like the Keystone Corridor or the Salish Zone. I think there's a lot of rebranding we need to do with that property, but it starts with our community input. And the Downtown Strategy will be hiring an urban design firm, and what I'd like them to do is have a separate process specifically for the Isthmus where we get all the feedback that we need through that collective impact model so that we build something there or create something there that works for most people. And personally, I see it more as a grand civic space, sticking to the height limits and making it something that everybody can enjoy.
Thank you. Cheryl, you have 2 minutes to answer the question. What do you propose to fulfill the goals for a safer, cleaner, more welcoming downtown?
Downtown was one of the reasons that I decided to get involved in the city when I moved my business downtown in 2009. I've seen great progress downtown. I'm super hopeful at this point. We passed a safety levy in 2013 that helped us increase the capacity of our police department to replace their downtown walking patrol We're not complete. We need a few more officers down there, but they're back on the streets, and they're wonderful officers, and they're great at community policing. As well, we have great support from our Downtown Ambassador program, great leadership there, and the Clean Team is a subset of the Downtown Ambassadors, have kept our downtown so free of graffiti and much more welcoming. I've worked on downtown cleanups for the last 6 years, and each year I go out now with the Clean Team. After the Clean Team, we don't have as much to do, so things are getting better. There's certainly more that we can do, and that downtown strategy is going to be part of it. As well, I'm very excited about the city hiring its very first economic development director, and she's going to be charged with driving the right business to the right part of town. Downtown it's a unique Main Street historic corridor, and it needs to remain as such, but it's underutilized and it's underproducing. So we need to find businesses that want to move to Olympia and stay in Olympia in our downtown. They're the right size for that. You know, the West Side's already got the infrastructure for the bigger franchises and box stores, and so her charge is to bring the right kind of development to the right parts of our town, and I'm excited about the future of Olympia.
Cheryl, thank you. Marco, you have 1 minute to respond. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I see that dealing with the town, there's sort of a dual approach. One, we do want a safer town, but we also want an inclusive downtown. So in terms of inclusivity issue, what we need to do is start networking and developing a greater, closer relationship between the city and social services agencies. Agencies like the Ambassadors Program, Community Youth Services. People who are transit, who stay downtown, who live in that area, what we need to do is start networking and getting them plugged into systems so they can get the services they need. By doing that, I think that we can contribute a lot to safety and alleviate some other people's concerns. The other one is we need to work with a variety of agencies, including law enforcement, to create a more community of safety that people are aware that they can come downtown and it's a welcoming environment. I understand, crime is a concern for people, and I think it's one that the city should be involved in, and we can deal with it in a social justice manner.
Thank you. Marco, you have 2 minutes to answer this next question. Would you say the office of mayor has a greater opportunity to affect the issues of the Olympia community than other council members? Why or why not?
It does and it doesn't. It does in the sense that the mayor really has a pivotal role in help setting the agenda for the rest of the council, and the mayor is sort of a symbol for the direction of the city and what the city stands for. So in those two capacities, the mayor does have a greater influence than any one council member. When it comes to voting on particular issues, passing certain ordinances, passing certain policies, the mayor has no greater authority than any other council member. So it does and it doesn't. The significance, I think, of the mayor's position, though, is really providing the lighthouse to guide the city through any incoming storms. And as that, I really want to emphasize the principles of inclusivity, of participation, and of social justice, making sure that we have a city that lifts everyone up.
Thank you, Marco. Cheryl, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I understand.
Okay, 1 minute.
Well, I touched on this in my opening statement about my perceived role of the mayor of Olympia. It is a weak mayor position, strong city manager, and every city council member has the same weighted vote. So I do see the role of mayor as being more of a convener of community conversations, a facilitator of those conversations, certainly a leader out front on when it's that role that is best, when that's the best role that the mayor can play. But I want to be able to pass the ball off to my council members when they can get it further down the field, and or work as I just can't get enough time here to talk about teamwork, but that's what I feel is missing, and I feel like our city councilors are underutilized right now, and that won't happen with me as mayor.
Thank you, Cheryl. Cheryl, you have the next question for 2 minutes. Are there steps you think the council should take to help ensure police accountability?
Okay, so we have this convening group that is leaders of people of color in our community, and I am waiting for them to tell us what they need us to do. I think it's been 5 or 6 weeks since the officer-involved shooting that brought this subject up. I believe that this is our opportunity to really dig deep and find out what we need from our police so that everybody feels safe and welcoming and feels like they're being treated equal. It's a huge, complex issue, and it's bigger than just Olympia. As we all know, it's a national conversation. Everybody's, watching it very closely. I think Olympia can be a leader in that regard. I think the police are willing to work with the community to find what makes everybody feel safe and heard, and the discussions around race, privilege, and power are ones that we all need to engage in, and the police are going to be at the table with us.
Thank you, Cheryl. Marco, you have 1 minute. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, that's okay, yeah. I think police accountability is a major issue for the city. What happened a few weeks ago was a tragedy. What makes it even worse is that every few years we have tragedies like this happen in our city between police and citizens. So I think that we really need to start looking at bold proposals to try to address this. I would like Olympia to be the leader in police accountability throughout the nation. I would like Olympia to be a leader in peaceful policing and community policing. That's why part of a platform is emphasizing new training for police officers, conflict resolution, and cultural competency, having the city invest in body cameras, and also looking at a citizens review board. I think by doing that, we can really get to the root of some of the issues that we have in terms of police and citizen relationships, and I think that we can more adequately address institutional racism in our city.
Thank you, Marco. And you get the next question. 2 minutes. What would be your major challenges as mayor?
I think that the major challenges of mayor is that trying to develop a consensus among the city for marrying economic growth and environmental sustainability. We have a lot of these issues have been very contentious in our community, but we need these things, both these things, economic growth and sustainability, and we need them to come together in a way that we know is going to work for everyone. There are a lot of points of agreement that I think that if we just help to move the conversation, that we can have a sizable majority to put things through. One of them is encouraging density. That's something that works for both our economy and and for the earth. The other one is encouraging public transit. That's something popular among a lot of people. The other thing is trying to get the staff in the city utilize their expertise and having them have a more intimate and close relationship with neighborhood associations and citizens so that we can take the input from the citizens and have it be married with the expertise of staff. Doing that, I think we can really get through some of these difficult impasses that we've had throughout the city and come up with proposals, come up with guidelines, come up with a plan that we know the majority of people will support, and we know that the majority of citizens can feel proud of.
Thank you. Cheryl, what would be your major challenges as mayor?
Well, our community is very bright and very engaged and very passionate, and that's a plus. But sometimes we use those assets to fight each other, and there seems to be this constant, we get bogged down in this us versus them dynamic, and I want to move beyond that. It's time. We're smart enough, we're capable enough that we can move forward as a city together and find out what's best for the most people that we can. Certainly there's going to be challenges ahead on discussions around the living wage, housing affordability, attracting well-paying jobs, and teen employment. So I look forward to being mayor and addressing those issues and moving our community forward.
Well, thank you both. And now we'll go into the closing statements. You each have 1 minute for a closing. Cheryl, this time we'll start with you. 1 minute, please.
First, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters of Thurston County for the opportunity to participate in this forum. In Olympia, we expect our mayor to have practical experience, knowledge, and skills to bring the best out of people. It is vitally important that we elect people with a solid sense of community and a record of achievement. Over 2 decades in Olympia, I've raised a family, built a thriving business downtown, while also working and volunteering to improve our quality of life. As your current council member, I focus on building partnerships, making safety a priority, and invigorating our local economy. I'll continue this work as mayor and bring greater collaboration from our talented and diverse community. I'm energized, committed, and ready to serve. For more information on how you can be a part of Team Cheryl and help me become the first mayor to be openly elected as Olympia mayor, please visit electcherylselby.com. Thanks for your continuing support.
Thank you, Cheryl. Marco, you have 1 minute for a closing statement.
Yeah, thank you. The most important thing I see for Olympia is to create a city that works for everyone. That means we really need to look hard at our city and consider redesigning it in critical ways. I've touched on 3 points: economic prosperity, environmental stability, and a more democratic two-story government. I think that these 3 principles are critical for redesigning our city. Most importantly, in terms of creating greater democracy in our city, we need to have a good hard look at some of our city institutions. I think we should start moving in a direction where we have an elected, accountable city manager. We should start considering a district version of city, and we should have more opportunities for citizen participation, including expanding our citizen advisory commissions and a greater relationship between our neighborhood associations. Democracy is something that compels us to work together. And by working together, we can create a city that really does work for everyone, a city, an Olympia for all.
Thank you. Thank you to our candidates for joining us today, and thank you to the residents of Thurston County for joining us at the League of Women Voters of Thurston County today for our candidate forum. And please remember, the League of Women Voters is open to both men and women, so we hope you will join us. And finally, a big thank you to TCTV for hosting this forum. Thank you and have a great day.